Hey Toy Family, welcome to another edition of the Marsham Toy Hour, where we discuss anything and everything designer toys. I'm Gary Ham.
And I'm Teresa Hawkins.
And Teresa, we're jumping over the pond again today.
We are. We
Yep.
didn't jump over the pond anywhere yesterday.
No, not
Or
yesterday, but we've gone there in the past. We jumped over the pond to go to the UK and we talked to Dr. Ray and John Paul Kaiser out there. And today we're going to do the same. So you and I we're actually doing two records in 1 week because I'm going to take a whole week off next week because I'm going to go out there and visit my brother and his family in Seattle. So, but we didn't want to leave the listeners empty-handed. We didn't want to have any lapse in weeks and all that. So we're going to do two in 1 week, and so we're a little early. So leaks and sneak peeks and stuff like that might be a little hindered, but yeah, so let's just go. Today we're going to be joined by our guest. He is a gloriously bearded fellow that also happens to be one of the founders of the Toy Chronicle, which is a premier toy blog within our industry. And they're also the recipients of winning the Designer Toy Award 2 times now as voted by the fans. So that's pretty awesome. So let's welcome a man of a magnificent name, Gary Rozanski.
Hey guys, how's things?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. It's Saturday evening. I have a beer. It's all good.
Now, is there a time that you don't have a beer?
Probably not. No, I mean obviously when I'm real working, I tend to avoid the beers, but any other time I try and get a nice beer. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining. I know it's late for you. It's early for me. I just ate lunch. Teresa, it's midday for you. So Gary, the Toy Chronicle is actually still pretty young. I mean, you guys are only, 4 years old? I believe you started in 2013.
Yeah.
And already, voted by fans, you've already received 2 Designer Toy Awards for Best Toy Blog. I mean, that's no easy feat, so congrats on that.
Yeah, I think it's taken us by surprise as well, like how big we've got in such a short space of time. Yeah, it's weird, but it's great at the same time.
No, it is great, but at the same time, I was kind of curious as to why you started blogging, because when you started, there's already a bunch of already prominent and very well-established toy blogs. So what made you want to jump into that pool and start, reporting toy news yourself too?
So back in 2013, when I just got back from living in the States, so I'd seen sort of how like New York Comic Con went down and things like that, and ToyCon UK had just been announced for the following sort of April. We were talking online with Andy, the other founder of Toy Chronicle, and a few others, and we actually met up at ToyCon really early. We were like the first ones in the queue, and we were just talking about like how the UK doesn't have any sort of representation in terms of like the blog. Obviously, there's Spanky over in the States. There's like the Urban Vinyl Daily and those guys, and Toys Revel over in
Singapore,
sort of Asia as well. So we were like, why don't we set up something and in the UK and sort of try and focus more on the UK artists and give them sort of a platform to show their work as well. I mean, it quickly escalated into other sort of areas as well, just because there's so many sort of releases each day. I don't think we could just talk about the UK market. We have to talk about other releases as well. So yeah, it just kind of grew and grew, and here we are 4 years, well, 5, it's almost 5 years now.
Right.
It's just insane. It really is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, like you said, to start out just kind of wanting to pay tribute to the UK side of the toy scene, but you said you had to branch out more than that. And originally there was, 6 members, but now you're down to 4, correct?
Yeah, so there was 6 founders, and then 4 quickly disappeared when they realized how much hard work is needed in blogging. And Andy Hung and myself, not Andy Heng, who's a Toys That Are Evil guy, Andy Hung stuck it out, and we just cracked on and just each day tried to get as many posts out as possible. We've obviously both got full-time jobs as well. Andy is a chef and I do project management. And yeah, it's just hard work, I think, has got to us to where we are now. There's probably other things, like we quickly learned how to use social media to his benefit. I think possibly other blogs didn't necessarily use it as well, like Facebook and Instagram, and how they presented themselves on there. And I think we were quick to learn about building engagement on posts, and that's definitely helped drive traffic to the Toy Chronicle.
Yeah, definitely. You seem very into like the analytics and all that sort of stuff, like trying to, maintain and know what your listener base is and where they're coming from. You seem very in touch with your following.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I use analytics a lot in previous real jobs, and yeah, I do use it just to try and beat ourselves. So I'm always looking at how many sort of people are on the site, how many pages they're looking at and try and beat that the next day and keep beating it. And over the month, I have like races to get to a certain number of page views and then keep track of what day that landed on. And then next month it's like, let's try and beat that again. And that's starting to get to the point where it's now looking at sort of millions of page views. How quickly can we get to that million page view over the course of several weeks, sort of thing, several months to get there? So it's just always, it's sort of a game to try and improve the Toy Chronicle. And yeah, it's
I
fun
like
as
that.
well.
You guys are always like wanting to improve and kind of challenging yourself, giving yourself daily goals and stuff. That's cool. And I think it's really important. So if you don't mind myself asking, what is the daily average of viewers that you guys get?
We get on average maybe about 9,000 page views a day.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's not huge in comparison to probably other blogs as well, but I think 9,000 for us is crazy. We had a last October-ish time, we just had this huge spike of followers. I don't know what we did, but we did something right. And since then, it just grows and grows. So the aim is to get to 9,000 a day and then see where we go from there. And
that sounds a lot to me, dude. I mean, that's a lot of clicks. That's good. That's awesome.
So, yeah.
You said blogging is like an extremely time-consuming. We only do this once a week, and you're doing this stuff daily. So I know it requires a great deal of commitment. You already mentioned some of the original members dropped out pretty quickly once they realized that. So with the current members, does that ever cause any strife if someone doesn't seem to be carrying their weight? Or are you guys just like one of those, like a tight-knit four-group team where, if someone wants to slack off a little on that week, the other guys step up and vice versa, and you just kind of rotate?
Yeah, I think so. We've got a pretty tight team now. We've got Pedro over in Portugal that helps us blog, and Chris CZ in the UK as well. And yeah, sometimes life gets in the way. It's not always easy. And as long as we're trying to blog every day, it doesn't matter who's doing that. We find that we'll always have time to at least blog at some time throughout the day. And I think with this particular group, we've worked out quite well. There's been previous people that we have got rid of that have not sort of pulled their weight, and it's pointless having them sort of in the background not doing anything because people only do things for certain reasons, and we weren't keen on keeping that sort of within our circle, so we got rid, and I think for the better, to be honest.
Yeah, you gotta go for what's better for the show and for you and for everyone else. You gotta keep it a fine-tuned machine. I imagine it happens all the time with friends that think it's good. Hey, let's start a company; it'll be fun, or a podcast or whatever. And eventually, once you get rolling, you find out, it's not easy. It's a big investment of time and family life and work life and all that stuff happens. Especially in the case where you're doing it on the side like we are, and in some cases you realize who's into it and who's not, and you got to make those tough choices. You got to have that awkward conversation, and if you have to part ways with someone, to make the show continue and be as good as it could possibly be, that's what you got to do. It sounds like you had to do that, and we had that discussion with a couple of co-hosts in the past, and it's not easy to do, but it sounds like it was definitely for the betterment of the show, and hopefully everything ended on positive terms, and you're still friendly with everybody, and you keep rolling.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and we have an absolute machine in Andy. He's just insane what he does in terms of like the blog, the number of posts he puts out. It's crazy, and the work he puts in. Andy really struggles with like spelling and things like that, but that doesn't stop him actually going out and putting out these posts and finding new artists that haven't had the chance to be shown on blogs before, and that really helps obviously build up a following too, because these artists that we find are then spreading the word about the Toy Chronicle, and it brings in new people, and
I follow all the blogs. I try to jump on all of them daily. One thing I can say about the Toy Chronicle is you guys very much, you're all different. There's always stuff that I see on the Toy Chronicle that I haven't seen on other blogs, and vice versa. But one thing that I really appreciate that what you guys do is a lot of the times, the artists and stuff will just send in copy, and a blog might just regurgitate that out to the public. But you guys tend to want to give personal input on it, or rewrite what they said, or you'll change up any marketing promo they do. You guys do a really good job of enhancing what I think artists probably initially share with you. So good job on that.
Yeah, that's one thing that we said from day one. Let's not be a copy and paste blog. Let's try and put our own stamp on it. We might not put our opinions on posts, but people they may be interested in our opinion, but everybody has a different taste, and there's sometimes we've put our own opinion and it's backfired, and we kind of almost stay away from that as such now, just because of that, and try and let other people make their opinion and just put the facts out there, put the sort of the important details on the blog, and let people find the releases and make their own decisions.
Yeah. And recently, you've been really good about doing some mobile apps to help people be a little more in tune with what's going on. I think you have a mobile app, or did you design it or project manage it where you can? It's like a calendar, and it kind of lets you know when the toy releases are or what events are. So it's kind of all right there in people's calendars already. They don't have to. And you guys are the one adding all that stuff to the mobile app?
Yeah, so that's something that I came up with only fairly recently. It's just, I don't know why we didn't think of it before. It was an events page where people can see what's going to be released that day, and then they can also add those releases to their calendar within a couple of clicks, so that it's on their phone then, so that they can get reminders when they're due to drop. And I think it's going well so far. It's obviously it's another task to complete when we're trying to collect all the information and make sure we get the right times and the right dates for drops, because that's never easy. That's one of the hardest parts of actually blogging is getting that information, because artists, as much as we love them, are not that great with information.
Right.
So trying to get that and get it into the blog so people can easily access those drop times, and it's just trying to make it easier for the collector as much as possible. And we've got a couple of cool things coming up in the pipework. We've got an actual app for an iPhone and Android coming up. I'm hoping that'll release within the next sort of week when this will drop, but
well, this should drop or air the week of August 21st. So, I mean, do you know the name of it at least, so then people can search it?
I don't know yet. It'll drop on the App Store and, if Apple accept it, and the Android Play Store at some point in around the 19th of August, maybe, if all goes to plan. We'll put all the links on our social media and the blog, how to download that. And I think it'd be quite a cool way to have the Toy Chronicle on the go for people to get push notifications when we drop information, and try and maybe have a translation in there, because we've obviously got global readers
Yes.
who don't always read English. So trying to have maybe a translation tool in there so it makes it easier for different nationalities to read and enjoy the Toy Chronicle.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. I like that.
So Gary, Bearded Gary, for this app, so like the push notifications. So, for one thing, I want to say that I love the calendar idea, and I actually need to go give that a try, because I'm constantly going on my phone and creating new like alarms for myself, and I'll name them like so-and-so toy drop or so-and-so toy sale, or I'll have to put them on my work calendar because I'm trying not to forget to like hop on at like a random time and go buy this thing. And so I love that idea. So I got to go give that a try to see what that's like. But for the app, so like the push notifications, is it going to be where like, say there's a specific artist or toy type that I'm really into, and I can kind of filter my push notifications towards that? Or is it just going to be like a push notification that says, hey, there's a new post up, go check it out?
I think it'll start as the latter, where it'll be a new post, go check it out. But we would love to do it based on like artist or based on like type of release, so that people they get it straight away. If they're a fan of the bots, they know that we've just posted a post about the new Luna release, for example, and they'll get it straight away. But that's something we're trying to work on, and I don't know how long that'll take to actually implement, but that's the dream. That was what I was really wanting to do with the app, but it's just getting the time and probably the finance to actually put that in place. But yeah, that's the hope.
Cool. And I love that you guys are getting bigger and better. Like, you're not just settling with just being a daily blog, or you won the DTAs and you're just going to keep doing what you're doing. Like, you guys are still wanting to improve and enhance, and I think that's awesome.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I think we've done the hard. Well, not necessarily we've done the hard work, but a lot of hard work has gone into it. So now it's just a case of what can we do next? What's going to improve the Toy Chronicle for our readers?
Yeah, you guys aren't afraid to just add more work to yourselves. I imagine it's hard enough already running a daily blog, but then to now run the events calendar and the other stuff, and it's I commend you for wanting to do all that extra stuff.
Yeah, thanks. I just know how hard it is as a collector sometimes myself, trying to find information. So it's good to have. Obviously, there's other blogs as well, but it's good to have a place that you sort of go to regularly and get that information. So
sure,
yeah.
For sure.
And let's talk about a second about how bad artists are about sending in information to the blogs. And so I know recently you kind of did a really nice post. I think I read it on Facebook about, what you would expect people would hopefully send in information. You want to take a second to let the artists and, not just artists, but toy companies or anyone who has any sort of news that they want you to share, how would you prefer they reach out to you and what information do you want them to include?
Yeah, so we did an open letter to designer toy artists a couple of months ago, just because, like I said, it takes up so much time trying to find information on releases that it'd be nice if artists actually knew what information to send over to not just us but to other blogs as well, to make it easier for everybody and get their work out. I mean, ultimately, it's going to benefit the artist. It benefits in terms of time, but it's only going to really benefit the artist if more people see their work. So we generally try and get, I think, the name of the piece that people are selling. That's always good to have that, because otherwise we're just making that up. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes not so much. Price, the time and date. That's probably one of the most important pieces of information that we need, so that obviously people can know when to hit up their websites. How to purchase the drop is always good information, just because some people do it completely different. They'll have an email address, or they'll have a store, or they'll have maybe, I'm seeing more and more people now do Facebook comments. So they'll put an image up and people have to comment on that image, and then they send out an image, an invoice. That's a different way that they're trying to sell. So we need to know that so we can direct the customers in the right way. Images is always good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And emailing you personally is always good. I know a lot of people kind of just think that they could just tag you in Instagram and you're going to see it that way, and you're going to want to do all the research involved. So take the extra 5 minutes and email these blogs yourselves. Don't just expect them to find you on Facebook and Instagram and then have them pecking around the internet trying to find all the information. Email the blogs, people.
Email the blogs. And if I was an artist, I would find all the blogs, I would find all their email addresses and create a mailing list, and just say it so that you just drop an email to them, to all the blogs. And sometimes you might want to change it up. So I think Josh Mayhem, for his solo show at Clutter Tonight, he sent a different image to different blogs. So spread out, and Kid Robot did that as well for the Arcane
Divination
series, so we all got a different artist to feature, and that works as well. But yes, when we get tags on Facebook and Instagram, we get so many notifications that we miss a lot of information. Instagram's just crazy. We've got almost 26,000 people that sort of like and follow on Instagram, and we're getting so many likes, and you only can see maybe, I think it's 300 or something. You miss out on so much going on that it's just easier if artists spend the time just to drop us an email with this information, and that's be very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question. So talking about social being kind of crazy and notifications, so a lot of times I think I might comment on one of your all's Toy Chronicle posts through your Instagram feed. Is that still the best way to do it, or should I be trying to DM you guys, or would that just annoy the crap out of you for me to be bothering you all for more info?
No, not all. I mean, a lot of people do ask questions, and we do try to get to them. That's not a problem with DMing us or commenting on pictures, and we do try and see everything. But obviously, sometimes things do get missed. But between Andy and myself, we try and comment back if we can at some point in the day.
No, you all are great about that. I've always loved the Toy Chronicle because, I used to be, I don't know, I go through waves, right, where I can be really in tune with the toy world and kind of stay up pretty in tune with the artists I follow pretty closely and what's going on. And then other times, work get really busy, right? And, I even look at Instagram all day, and I'm God knows what I've missed, right? And so it's always great to have a place that can kind of catch those things for you. So, yeah, kudos to you all for helping me out when...
No,
thank you. Busy.
Yeah. Thank you for everything. Thank you for reading. Thank you for supporting, and it's always appreciated. It really is.
Now, blogging is kind of a thankless job, right? So you said you have 20,000 plus watchers on followers on Instagram. You got 9,000 daily clicks. But when you post on Instagram and such, you have like 23,000 followers, but you only might get like 4 likes, and very rarely do you ever get a comment. So does that ever get you down? Because you've won the awards. Obviously, that the community really likes you guys. But doing this on a daily basis, I know that can kind of grind on you a bit. Not getting maybe the community feedback that sometimes you would hope for.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be, but we might not always get people thanking us, but we get people sharing and commenting and liking. That's thanks, because it makes such a difference to the way Facebook and way Instagram works. If we can get more engagement, which we do, we get a great engagement level compared to the number of likes that we have on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Compared to other blogs. That's the great thing about Facebook. Again, going back to like analytics, we can see how other people are doing, and like our engagement's just crazy compared to other blogs, and they're obviously still doing a great job, but I think we do something different in terms of connecting with people. We try always to, when we're writing statuses, we're a bit daft with the way that we write things, and maybe we'll put a rude joke in there or some sort of...
Yeah, and I think that's great.
Just to...
Oh, sorry. You know how to engage with the audience, and I think that's great. And I think that's something that I've failed on with the podcast a little bit. Like, there hasn't been much engagement at all. It's like you can look at page views at least, and there is a following. But with the podcasting, downloads are not accurate, and the analytics are not accurate, and it's really hard to gauge if there are listeners. And, unfortunately, the Instagram, there's really not much feedback. And that's what I was primarily doing, our promotion was Instagram and occasionally on my personal Facebook page. And, and I people aren't going to listen to an hour and a half podcast and then, backtrack and find the thread just to leave a comment. And, so what we did was we started a group on Facebook. It's called the Marsham Stomping Ground. And already I sort of noticed a little more community, a little more engagement has been happening, a little more carryover discussion of what we talked about in the podcast. We've been doing daily questions and polls and stuff like that. And already I sort of feel that there's been a little more engagement, since we started that up.
Yeah, I was going to say about that, actually, in terms of with Facebook, you can have groups or you can have a page. Was there a decision to go with the group rather than a page? Because when I want to try and tag Marsham Toy Hour, I can't do that because it's a group. So it's difficult to sometimes tag people that have groups. Yeah. And then people have got to sort of request access as well to the group, whereas with a page you can just like it and get on with your day kind of thing. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't probably put enough time into researching what the difference between a fan page and a group was. I knew that I didn't want to go like the fan route. We're a fan. I push the like button, and I wanted to feel a little more community-like. And I know that the downside of the group is that you have to essentially join it and be accepted. It's like, it's not just pushing a button and you're a like button and you're accepted. It's, you submit it to me. I promise you, anyone who wants to join it, you push the join and we're going to accept it. It's not exclusive. Yeah. It's just the way the group is set up. And I just felt like group was a little more community based. But do you think that maybe we should have gone page instead?
I'm betting he's going to say page because that's what they have.
Yes. Yeah, I think a page is probably better, but I mean, you use it as you need to, really. So it may work quite well as a group. There's obviously people you can already see that there's engagement on your posts. People are talking, people are asking questions, people are doing what you ask of them. So that's good, even as a sort of in your infancy as a Facebook group. Then that's good too.
I tell you what, I gotta make the questions a little easier. I'm gonna dumb these things down. It's gonna be like shorts or slacks. People don't like the hard questions.
Toilet paper up or toilet paper down.
Exactly. Towards the wall or towards the front. Yeah. And
there's only one appropriate answer: over the top. If you go any other way, then we cannot be friends.
Right. Yeah, I put some in just the 1 week we've been open. It's I try to keep it, light question than a hard question. But, the hard questions is stuff that you can play with your friends outside of the public. And you can have fun with that. But I think in a public forum, especially the last question I did, pick 5 people that you would want to be sitting at your wedding reception table. I guess, people are just afraid to answer that question. They don't want to alienate anyone. And plus, there's a lot of time and effort and thought you got to put into that kind of question. So I'll probably make things a little simpler and not as tough to answer.
I think you still got quite a lot of answers there, if I remember. I remember answering late last night, drunk. So
yeah, yours are pretty funny. But yeah, there was a decent response. But I don't know, maybe stuff like that's a little too challenging because I think people want to like give like the PR type answers. They don't want to, potentially ruffle any feathers and it becomes like a soap opera down the line. So I understand that. So I'll keep the questions a little less challenging in the future. And speaking of challenging, let's get back to talking about your blog and everything. What are some of the challenges that maybe you run into running the Toy Chronicle? Like, what is blogging life, and what are the challenges?
Oh, yesterday, when we have server issues and we can't do anything about it. So when people are trying to get on the website and the server's down, and we have to try and get in contact with like the hosting company and like what the hell's going on, and they're like, oh, one of our clouds are down. And I'm like, oh, seriously, we're losing traffic. That's one of the frustrations that we have. And then obviously, as I mentioned, about trying to find information out, that's probably the number one issue that we have behind the scenes. The rest is all pretty fun, so I don't think we have that many issues really. Maybe when we do get information and it's sort of at last minute and we're trying to get or maybe like a company will drop, like Toys will drop a announcement, and it's a race to try and get that information out first, because if you get the information first, you can get the most page views, because you can add it to sort of Facebook groups and it'll drive traffic quite quickly. So it's a case of trying to not just beat other blogs, but try and beat other sort of fans posting that information onto sort of Facebook groups, because if it does make a difference of thousands of page views if we can get in there first. So it's just trying to find that time.
Do you feel that there's competitiveness between the other toy blogs? Like, do you have any rivalries? Do you feel like you mentioned, you kind of want to get to the punch first, but with you guys being in the UK and most of the other toy blogs being in the US, do you like, especially, well, and then Toys Are Evil out there in Singapore, there's a lot of toy blogs, but the different time frames. Do you ever feel like a lot of the news comes out of the US and then so maybe you don't have the edge on that if an artist decides to release something at 5 p.m., you're sleeping then. It's so, but then you probably have the edge for a lot of the Asian countries and stuff like that. So
yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, Andy and I both rarely sleep that often, so we do stay up far too late, and when pieces of information come out, we do blog late as well. So we kind of have best of both worlds. We can capture a lot of the US stuff that comes out later in the day in the States, and then we get the Asian market as well when they wake up and they're sort of posting information. So I think that's something that we do quite well in terms of keeping in touch with both sides of the world, and as a central point in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And then with rivals, I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. I follow social media. It seems like there might be a rivalry, but I know no one wants there to be. We're all trying to help build this community and everything. So there really shouldn't be. I like the idea of rivals, though. I think that adds a level of it keeps you competitive. It keeps you wanting to be better and do more. So in sports, rivalries are important, and I think in the blog world, I love the idea of there being rivals. None of us are ever going to choose sides because we all want our toy news, so we're still going to follow all of you. But I like the playfulness and the competitiveness of thinking that there's a rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, there's a rival to get that news out first. That's for sure. And I think we were the underdog coming out swinging in sort of 2013, and when these blogs were already very well established, and they were the names that people went to, and maybe us sort of stepping into their yard probably stepped on a few nerves, kind of thing, and then obviously winning the best blog twice.
Yeah.
When certain blogs have a stronghold on the award situation, I think that probably does cause some rivalry. I mean, I love all the blogs. I mean, I really do. I know the hard work that goes into it. So I'm like you. I love the sort of rivalryness of blogs. But then some people like Toys Are Evil just get on with it. They don't give a shit what we're doing. We don't have any issues on that side. But yeah, it's all fun. We all love each other, really.
Yeah, I mean, we're all in it for the same reasons. So there's no reason to.
Yeah, exactly. We're all here to make a better sort of world for designer toys and get news out and help artists sell their work and make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you definitely, that's exactly what we all want, right? But for some reason, a part of me wants to have that fun rivalry. Something, to just a little entertainment. Are you familiar? Well, you're in the UK, and you might not be familiar with the talk show Jimmy Kimmel. He has a battle with a friend, and I can't think of the actor's name.
Matt Damon?
Yes, exactly. Matt Damon. So him and Matt Damon have this huge rivalry. I mean, they just pretend like they hate each other, and they do it so well that you actually can't tell if they really hate each other or not. But I know they're both jokesters, so they definitely don't. But in public, they pretend like they totally hate each other. It's done really well, and it's great. And I would sort of love to see that in, I don't know, between two artists or two blogs or what have you. I think it would be a lot of fun to see. But this is just me, just wanting entertainment. Just get my popcorn.
Yeah, almost. As long as we don't get like to the Red Sox Yankee sort of stage of hate, then it's fine.
No, that's what I mean. You have to have a sense of humor and playfulness about it. But I understand this toy scene is it's quite fickle. It's quite sensitive. So I don't know how far that would go, especially with it being so much written word. It's something that we can do, like even through the podcast. You guys can kind of read my voice and know where I'm being joking and sarcastic. But unfortunately, I've had friendships ruined because I'm very sarcastic and jokey in the written word. And so maybe this sort of banter and stuff just doesn't come across on social media.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes to get that across. I know like Andy sometimes struggles because it's like I mentioned about the way he sort of writes and things, and he does such a great job, but sometimes he'll think things and then write it as he thinks it. And I read it sometimes like that's close to the bone, that is, but it's all good. It's what makes Andy, and I think people appreciate that he's quite honest and open, and it works. He is. He's got people's backs up sometimes, but it happens.
I mean, it's totally tricky, and I totally get where he's coming from. I know I've said some things on this podcast that was very, very much, way misinterpreted than what I actually said. And it was misinterpreted by people that didn't even hear the show. I guess someone else related it to them. Yeah. And like, no, you just listen to the show. It's not how it was intended, and you got a little snippet. And it was totally, totally wrong. So it happens, and I totally get it. And it's also one of those things doing a podcast, too. It's like I feel like we should talk about the things that people are thinking, but not necessarily talking about. I mean, you want to have the discussion, and that's not easy either, because people then think that you're being negative and instigating something. Well, it's like, no, we're not. We're just trying to have that discussion.
Yeah, of course. Totally.
We're trying to be positive and build a community.
Well, and along those lines, Bearded Gary, is it a struggle for you to be like write an article about a toy that you personally aren't feeling? Because I feel like it's very clear my aesthetic and what appeals to me, right? Like I have a very specific taste. So
super cute.
I would probably have a very hard time writing a blog about this piece that I look at and I'm like, that looks like rotting flesh meat and it looks disgusting. Like I don't want that in my collection. But I know there's probably people that appeals to. So do you ever personally struggle with doing that, or kind of gotten to a point where?
Yeah. And that's why sometimes it's best to keep his opinions to ourselves and let other people sort of make their decision, because we know everybody has such different tastes that we try. If I see a piece that I need to write about and I'm not overly keen, I'll just try and get the main information out there so other people can find it, and if they like it, they can love it all they like. I don't need to like every single piece that comes through the Toy Chronicle. I don't have enough space in my collection for everything, so. Yeah,
if only you did, right? If only I could just fill my house to the brim with every single toy. I already kind of tried to do that, so.
I try. I've got so much stuff in storage now. I've just run out of space. But yeah, so I've just got things in storage that I don't even remember, and in boxes that.
Well, I was just going to ask a couple things. So we were talking about like trying to get the news out there quickly, and I've been trying to figure out for the Toy Chronicle. I don't know if you all like put on the website and then like push out the social all at once, so like a post on Facebook and a post on Instagram get posted at the same time, or what? Is there like a recommendation for like how to best follow you all to make sure that you're seeing the post quickest? Because like I think mostly for me, Instagram's kind of my main social media, so I just kind of look to follow you there. But again, Instagram kind of makes it a little hard where you kind of have to actually go to you all to find stuff. Is that is there like a recommendation of how to best kind of stay on top of that?
I think our main source and our sort of number one social media is Facebook at the Toy Chronicle, just because that's what drives the most traffic. Instagram is terrible for driving traffic, just because you can't really link away from Instagram unless you have certain privileges as in like the story mode. You know, when you put the like videos and things, you can link away if you have the correct settings. But Facebook is probably the number one. If they go there, and that'll be where we post first, and then we go to Twitter. But we don't really use Twitter as much, just because I don't know why we don't use Twitter as much as we do Facebook. But Facebook seems to be the easiest to use and easiest to manage. And then Instagram comes later on. It's more about just the images and sort of making it look nice on Instagram, and that maybe comes a couple of hours later and that's again, Andy is a machine. He'll go through and he's probably sat on the toilet just like scrolling and adding images whilst he's so but Facebook is just easier for us to get that information out.
All right, well then I'm gonna have to make sure I'm following you all closer on Facebook. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, speaking of following, and this is a nice little segue into our sponsors. We have some great sponsors here at the Marsham Toy Hour, and you should be sure to follow them. Actually, one of them right now, the Toy Chronicle. Great sponsor for all your daily designer toy news. Follow the toychronicle.com. And there's also another great toy blog, spankystokes.com. And for all your designer toy needs and desires, and you want to purchase something right now, well, be sure to head on over to strangeCatToys.com and use promo code Marsham at checkout to receive 10% off your order. And if you want a brick and mortar location, well, there's also 3D Retro and 3dretro.com. So 3D Retro is a beautiful brick and mortar location out there in Southern California, and I hear it's awesome and definitely a place that you need to see one day. And we also have printsonwood.com. If you're an artist or a photographer and you've ever wanted to have your artwork printed on beautiful sustainable wood, then there's your people, printsonwood.com. Now, as far as managing information, it's like, how often do you pretty much blog about all the information that people send to you, or are you being a little more selective about what you share on your blog?
No, I think we post anything that's emailed to us. We generally do post. I think there's been a few in the last sort of 4 years or so that we may have replied back and said, look, it's not the right thing for the Toy Chronicle. Whether that's just people will search for toy blogs and they'll send us things that are not designer toys. So we do generally post everything that comes through. It might take us a while to get through it, but we generally do.
Okay.
Do you still get out there and find your own bits and pieces of fun stuff that someone hasn't emailed you and post those as well?
Oh, yes. 90% of what we post is probably our own findings. And that's something that Andy does really well. He'll be able to find information on like Asian sort of artists, really. I don't know how he does it sometimes, but he does a good job of that, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you have a desire for us crazy collectors, aka people like me, to like, if we see something weird and random, to tag you in it? Or is that just kind of, as we were talking earlier, kind of difficult because you get so many freaking notifications you may miss it? Like, is there would you rather me like grab it and email it to you all real quick and be like, hey, this is cool, you should mention this, or something like that? Like, do you have a recommendation?
Oh yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. If people take like screenshots and email it to us, that'd be the bomb. That really would make things so much easier. Because we only can follow so many people, and Instagram is so like, we find most of our pieces on Instagram anyway. But trying to get through Instagram and their different algorithms to see all these artists, we do miss out on things. So yeah, people sort of emailing us would be appreciated, very much so.
Now, the toys that you guys reveal, are those from your own personal collection that you paid for, or do sometimes artists and companies send stuff in to be reviewed?
They do, not as often as people would think. We have a good working relationship with Kid Robot, so they send us a box of stuff every now and again. Other production companies will send us things, but most of the things that we'll review in person or do like a Facebook Live stream are things we bought ourselves through like Kickstarter or through like the Artist Direct, just to try and support them as much as possible, because it's money at the end of the day for them. So yeah, we try and support them that way.
Okay. What's the weirdest thing you guys have ever received?
The weirdest thing.
Like, what made you laugh the hardest, do you think?
I'm just looking at my collection now to see if I can see anything that I thought was particularly...
Or it could just be, what's the strangest or funniest post like someone ever sent to you thinking that they can get you guys to post it? I'm sure there's times where you open up your email and you just crack up.
There's probably quite a few like bootleg stuff that gets sent to us in email.
Yeah, those are good.
There's just crazy things that people sort of come up with. They're just insane. There was the one that was at San Diego, the R2 Putu or something. That was
R2
Putu. What else? I can't think of anything else I've been sent that's really weird. I don't think I have. We've not been sent weird things, which is good to know.
So, Mr. Gary Ham and I, we need to put together some goofy package and send it to TTC.
Hell yeah!
Yeah. We always receive the packages.
So you guys have this hashtag cough. I can't say that I'm really well versed like in what that is, but you guys use it a lot. Can you care to elaborate on what that is?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's all a bit of fun. I think we've kind of touched on two of the topics already in this sort of call that we've gone through about certain people and rivalries. So we posted something. When was it? Early this year, and it included like a list of artists that were going to be at ToyCon.
Oh, okay.
And then at the end, Andy, in his the way that he writes, he finished the list by going, and cough the Toy Chronicle, as in like us as well, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And then somebody came along that once blogged for the Toy Chronicle, but we got rid of, and he went to a different toy blog. He decided to copy our text, which isn't a problem.
Sure.
It happens. It's who wants to type out a long list of 100 artists? It's boring. Nobody wants to do it. So he came along and copied the text. Okay. But then he removed the Toy Chronicle from the list.
Okay.
But left cough in there. So it's like, come on. It's obvious you've copied the list. If you're gonna be like this, at least leave us in it. We're gonna be there as well. It's only right.
Uh-huh.
So it left cough being in the list, and it looked like cough was an artist. So we then took.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Does that make sense? So it made it look as cough was one of the artists going to ToyCon, and we then decided, well, cough's our sort of like secret gang now, and it's silly. It's one of those things. But
so it's sort of being like antagonistic a little bit, kind of like poking fun at it. It's kind of funny to think that maybe someone should start up the artist named Cough because of that.
Well, we're actually keeping that as ourselves. So we've got some pin designs coming out. Like everybody loves it. I've just been spending some time doing like a secret TTC gang pin that I'm going to try and get out in the next week or so. And
okay, I get it now. It's a good playful. It's a good inside joke.
Yeah.
And no, I think you're definitely antagonizing the other blog for sure. But I think it's in a fun, playful way, like going back to that rivalry sort of thing. I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it is. It's just it's if you know kind of thing. It's people won't get it. People will see these pins and be like, yeah, don't understand. But people that know about the situation, they'll hopefully wear the pin and they'll be like, yeah.
Okay.
Join the costume.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for clearing that up, because I've been seeing that everywhere. I saw it at the Designer Toy Awards. You have it in a lot of your Instagram and Facebook posts, and I didn't, I had an inkling of what it was, but I wasn't fully sure the whole story. So I wanted to hear it from straight from you.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Ham Gary, want to switch up to some fun discussion, non-blog stuff?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, Bearded Gary, I'm going to start with the hardest hitting question yet.
Oh,
go for it.
Will you ever shave the beard?
No. I mean, I have.
Forever and always?
the beard stays. I think I have pictures of me without a beard, and it's not pretty.
Have you ever shared those?
It's out there somewhere. Let me.
We like a good challenge. You up for it, Theresa?
Yeah.
Let me see. I'll send it to you guys. Obviously, people on the listening won't be able to see it, but
until I put it in our weekly promotional image.
Oh.
Maybe
I should.
No, I won't. I won't do that to you.
Maybe you should.
How long have you had the beard?
I think the last time I was clean shaven was this picture that I'm going to send you. That was 2011. I had a real job work event, and I was like presented an award, and my boss was quite clear that I had to be clean shaven, which unfortunately, so that sucked. So I just shaved everything off. I was shaven. I gave in to the baldness a long time ago.
Now, do you have kids, or are you married at all?
No, I have one cat, Bella. He's my baby.
Okay.
We
My
don't
baby.
have my baby. We don't have kids. I've been in a long-term relationship with Gemma over 12 years now. Yeah, 12 years. It was 12 years this July.
Okay. So she's seen you without the beard. What I was trying to get to is there's some great YouTube videos out there of obviously dads or husbands or spouses that have had beards their entire life being with this family. And then you'll see it where the dad just one morning shaves it off, and they'll record the children's reaction to seeing dad without a beard for the first time. And they are absolutely hilarious to watch.
Yeah, I think Gemma would like me to shave it, or at least trim it. I did at one point keep it in sort of check, but then I was just like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just going to keep on growing it and just see what happens. And it's kind of got to ZZ Top sort of level of beard, and I kind of love it.
It's glorious.
Yeah, I just saw the picture come through, and you do look so different without it. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm the one wearing the pink shirt, by the way, just to make it clear.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, you having a cat, you can't be mad, but if you listen to the recording with Serious Silly K, I kind of ripped on cats a teeny bit, but only because I'm crazy allergic, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd let you off on that.
So don't hate me.
No, it's fine.
Now
sorry, go on.
Oh, you're saying you get to travel around a lot. For being in the UK, you've come to quite a few of the stateside conventions, and I think you've done a couple. Have you gone to a couple of the Asia conventions as well?
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, that was one thing that I think we do well in terms of the blog, is that we get out there. So I'm more of a stateside sort of reporter. So I'll go to like Decon, I'll go to New York Comic Con. 5 Points was amazing in May. That was just a huge hit. I've still not done San Diego, but I don't think that's really something that doesn't interest me more than sort of like 5 Points or for Decon. Mm-hmm. And then Andy, he loves going over to like Asia and seeing family and stuff. So he does like the Thailand Toy Con. He's going to Singapore with John Paul Kaiser next month. So he's going over there again. So we do cover a lot of ground in designer toy world. So I think that helps us getting out and meeting artists, getting drunk with people, and sort of just having a fun time and getting our name out. Then I think it really helps build that sort of relationship up with people.
Yeah, you definitely like to have fun. You know how to party.
Yes, and I'm just going to open another beer, by the way.
Okay, we'll wait for you.
There we go.
Do you ever see yourself on the producer end, or you just want to stay as a blogger?
Oh, I would love to. I would love to do like production stuff, but it's just finding the time and money to do it. I mean, it's not cheap. I'm quite envious of Urban Vinyl Daily, what they've done with the bots and Luna. I mean, I love Luna. It's such a great sort of platform. Yeah. And it's great to sort of see, and it's good for like the Travis and those guys at Urban Vinyl Daily to actually go ahead and do that, and to pick the right artist. And by all accounts, Luna's having a successful sort of, when they do different releases, they've been successful. So that's great to see. But yeah, I'd love to do something. It's definitely something we'd love to do. It really is. What
are your thoughts on crowdfunding? Are you pro for it, or is it something you're not really into?
I'm I'm pro for the crowdfunding. It doesn't always work. I mean, we've seen a couple of things. Unfortunately, it didn't work. The I Break toys didn't get funded recently.
Sure.
Quite sad because I thought that would have worked. The Kyle Kerwin plush didn't go through, but I see people do it for like pins. I'm like, nah, pins. It's $200. Just pay that out of your own pocket. You don't need a crowdfunder to do that. If you're gonna do anything, just put it on pre-order or something. You don't need to go down the crowdfunding source. But
yeah, I kind of tend to agree on that one.
Speaking of pins, I mean, pins have kind of become this sort of thing that for a while at first I thought, oh, it's just this kind of random thing, but now it kind of seems to be permeating quite a bit. What do you think, Bearded Gary? Is this like a little fad, kind of like stickers or what have you, and just kind of come in and people we into for a bit, or you think it's going to be around for a while?
I think it'll be around for a while. I think people need to really embrace it because it's a great source of income for artists. It's not a huge amount to invest to get your pin designed. There's enough, like Made by Cooper is one of our sort of site sponsors, and they do amazing pins. The 2 pins that we've designed, the TTC pins, have gone through those guys, and they're a relatively good price. And even if you were selling a pin at sort of $5 or £5, you're still making enough money to invest into the next sort of job. So they're easy for people to make, and they are cheap enough for people to buy as well. So if you have pins at like conventions, you probably sell a lot of those because people have got that sort of pocket money sort of change to drop sort of $5-10 on a pin. They might not have the money to spend $60 on a piece, but as long as they're going away with something of yours, I think it's great for artists. So yeah, the more the merrier. We're seeing more people put those pins out, and I think it's only a good thing.
Yeah, more than ever in the designer toy world, we're seeing more and more licensed crossovers with the designer toy world. Do you think there's too much, or is there a good balance, or what's your view on that?
The licensing stuff, it works in some sense. I think a lot of what like Mighty Jax and Jason Freeney are doing with the XX Ray stuff is perfect. Like the Looney Tunes stuff, I absolutely love. I'm not keen on the new Kid Robot Batman series that they've dropped, the Dunnies. I mean, I understand how licensing it works. It's almost to get those sort of new customers in to buy a licensed product and then hopefully get them sort of hooked onto other designer toy stuff. But yeah, that new Batman series just doesn't do anything for me.
I just don't like that they touched the Dunny. I really wish. I don't mind that they're doing it. I just wish they did some other platform and left the Dunny to be for the artists. Something about using the Dunny for now licensing, it just doesn't feel right to me. And I didn't necessarily really like the new head sculpts they did for him. But yeah. I understand why they're doing it. And again, I think I mentioned it on the last episode was Seriously Silly. I don't think these Batman Dunnies, they're not geared or marketed towards the designer toy collectors. These are stuff for the comic shops and the Barnes & Nobles and the more mainstream market. And maybe those people that are seeing that stuff in Barnes & Noble, they'll take a little notice of Kid Robot and wonder what else they're doing. And then they'll start buying their more designer toy stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And when I think back to when I first started collecting and opening sort of like blind box Kid Robot boxes and getting hooked, just having really quality Dunny series is probably enough to get the random customer interested. Like the last 2 series that they've dropped, the DTA Dunny series and the Arcane Divination series have just been on point. And those are the things that will get people hooked into Kid Robot more than I think like this Batman series will.
I was just going to say, you mentioning like the different stores is maybe targeted at Gary. I mean, it kind of makes sense because literally that's how I got into it, was finding a blind box in Barnes & Noble. So now granted it wasn't a licensed Batman thing. It was a plush donut, which is very telling for the stuff I like. But I guess my only hope for it is it's not to my personal taste, but hey, if it can bring more people in and get some artists some more visibility and grow the scene, I'm all for it. I get licensed stuff has a place. When I look at like Kid Robot, for example, I'm kind of feeling like they're going a lot more licensed and I'm seeing less of the artist-based stuff. And I'm hoping it doesn't become where like it's almost like an 80-20 split where they just become more and more and more license focused. I hope they maintain a good balance there. So I don't know. I just worry about that, like losing the artist piece of the designer tour world, at least from a production standpoint. But I get it. I mean, I get why they do it.
Yeah, I think with like the new sort of 5-inch Dunnies that they're bringing out, I think that's I don't know how successful the 5-inch has been, but I do think I love it personally. I think the ones that they've released so far have been great, and it adds a new level to the Dunny collection. They've obviously put a lot of money into JY and the DTA series. That's quite clear in the way that they've come out, and it's just been a fantastic 2 series. I don't know what's in the pipework in terms of new series. Actually, maybe I do. The bots, they've got the series coming out.
Mm-hmm. The Halloween one.
That looks like it's going to be great as well. But yeah, I mean, hopefully there'll be more sort of artist series and individual 5-inch Dunnies, and then have the licensed stuff on the sort of like side burner to fund all these different artist series that we love.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of the introduction of the 5-inch Dunny, like one thing that I've kind of noticed become more of a trend is like it seems like what the new approach is for like the artist Dunny series is they come out with the case of the 3-inch Dunnies, and then they seem to at least have a 5-inch or an 8-inch that kind of accompanies it, and I think that's kind of a cool approach. Like the
is
idea.
That true? I haven't noticed.
I mean, it's like so.
The clairvoyant with the
like the Arcane Divination series, and they made all the different clairvoyant 8-inch that accompanies and relates to that series. Like for the Feral series with Vissel, they made the 2 8-inch goat Dunnies to go with.
Okay, yeah, but those are both kind of like you would probably call them kid robot artists. Like with the design the DTA Dunny series, I don't think.
Yeah, they're doing the Mab Graves, the 8-inch.
So okay, so they're not using an artist or in conjunction
then they're doing
with.
Like
okay, gotcha.
Like the odd ones, they're getting ready to do. Is it one of Scott's other characters as a larger one? I don't know if it's a 5 or 8, but it seems like that. At least for me, I'm seeing that as like a.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. I'm starting to see it now. Yeah, I don't know. I missed it. Yeah.
It's not necessarily that they're taking one of the pieces and making it bigger. Not necessarily, but like it's a related piece with that set. It's like almost building kind of a collection with the 3-inch series. You get some larger pieces to go with it. I don't know. It looked like a trend to me. I don't know if you all agree, but I don't know. I think it's a cool idea. The idea of creating multiple Dunny sizes that kind of relate as a group.
Mm-hmm. No, I like it. I'm processing it still. I didn't really, for some reason, I was blind to it. But no, you're right. No, I like it. You
like it, Bearded Gary?
I do like it too. I mean, I'm in love with the clairvoyant. That's one of my favorite pieces of all time. I think the sculpt on that is just insane. I'm happy with the multiple colorways. I'm happy that it ties in with the Arcane Divination series as well. Yeah, it's all good.
What about the next blank contest that the Marsham Toys is currently hosting? It ends in October. Do you think we're going to see the next great blank from this contest? Do you think we need another great blank?
Yeah, it's always fun to have a different platform for people to use. The last contest they ran was the trip to ToyCon, which was the year RX7 one, and that created a beautiful relationship between the Toy Chronicle and RX. So I think, yeah, Marsham Toys are pretty nailed on with things. So I'm hoping that will generate something new and interesting for people to go out and customize and collect, and we'll see. Yeah, hopefully.
I hope so. I'm afraid that they're going to be most of the submissions are going to be cool objects, but not necessarily make a great blank. So I'm really anxious to see what actually wins the contest.
Yeah, me too. I'll be keeping an eye on it, that's for sure.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Marsham Toys decides to produce something that was submitted, but not actually, let it win the contest. But they might actually like a design enough to then take it outside of being the contest and then produce it as a painted toy or something like that. So yeah, that's always could happen too.
They had great success with the Jason Lemon.
Amazing success! Yeah.
The cone, what was it? The ice cone, the snow cone,
abominable snow cone.
Yes, and he won the DTA as well. So that was great to see those guys actually get rewarded for that.
Mm-hmm, totally. We completely skipped leaks and sneak peeks. Should we skip it this week, or do you want to do a little quick run through it?
I literally almost mentioned that. It came into I was like, you just jump right in. You just didn't even follow her.
I was anxious to talk to Gary. I just kind of screw leaks.
I mean, we can.
Yeah, let's just do a quick run through. I know we were a week early, so I know I picked a couple things that probably aren't really pertinent to the week this airs. So do you guys have anything prepared that's not going to be week pertinent? All right, Gary, we'll let you think on that one a bit. Theresa, why don't you go first?
Oh shoot, hold on. I need my notes.
Oh, come on, Theresa. All right, I'll go first then for my leak and sneak peek, since you guys are slacking. So I'm going on vacation next week. I'll be in Seattle all week. So we did record this episode early, so I wanted to pick out something that's not related to the week this actually airs. So first, I want to mention that I'm a huge fan of Halloween. I've mentioned it on previous episodes that one of my favorite Halloween memories is those vintage vacuum form masks and play suits, mainly done by like Ben Cooper in Collegeville. Well, up for pre-order now, currently. You can go there now at retroagogo.com. Their Series 3 of their giant retro Vactastic plastic mask wall decor are now available for order. And I think this is probably the best series yet. They have masks for the Bride and the Lucky Cat and Mars Attacks and more. And even some of them glow in the dark, which I think is a really cool new feature. These things are huge. They're about 2 feet tall by 17 inches wide. They're designed to be hung on your wall, but they also come in that cool vintage Halloween packaging. If you leave it in the packaging, it looks really cool just sitting on your shelf. They go for $35 plus shipping, and again, they're up for pre-order now at retroagogo.com, and they'll start shipping in September. And if giant vacuum form masks on your wall isn't your thing, they now have enamel pins of a lot of these masks. And what's really cool about them is they come packaged in the same vintage packaging that their Ghoulsville masks come in. So it's a really nice presentation. I think there's 8 different enamel pins available now. They're up for pre-order at $12 each. So if pins are your thing, or even the giant wall hung masks, definitely check out retroagogo.com. And I also picked up a shirt from TenaciousToys.com this week. I thought it was a pretty cool shirt for all of the do-it-yourselfers in the industry. It was a shirt designed by Manly Art, and it's a simple logo that just says Hecho en mi garaje. And if you don't speak Spanish, what that translates to is made in my garage. And I think that's a pretty cool statement for our toy scene. So it's a neat shirt, and if you like it, it's $13, and it's available at TenaciousToys.com.
Do they got different shirt colors, Gary?
I think right now there's just the one, but I do think this is one of those shirts that maybe could have been done through a print on demand site where we could have had maybe a better selection of shirt styles and shirt colors and stuff like that, because I would definitely have preferred like maybe a darker color with a lighter print color on it, and I really like those naturally faded kind of screen print, kind of already looks aged and worn a little bit, that acid wash screen printing. So that would have been a nice option, but I think right now it's just in the one screen print and in the one t-shirt color, but they do have men and women styles. So, but $13, that's a pretty good price for a shirt.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. All right, me next.
Hit it.
So mine is kind of random too, but I was just perusing the Instagrams, and actually someone was just posting like a fun, we do like, us collectors will post fun like mail day shots or recent pickups kind of a thing. And so they had done like this fun little collage of lots of stuff that they had gotten in the mail recently. And in kind of the far back corner of this photo was this like Dunny lamp. And I was like, what the heck is this? It's like a lamp in the shape of a Dunny. So I was like, okay, I've got to go dig and see what this is, because I just hadn't seen it before. And this was made by, it was a customized Dunny lamps made by Jason Forbes. And on Instagram, he's _JFO. But apparently he just did kind of a second run of his custom Dunny lamps called Luxo. They actually released end of July, but there's still a few available, and they're actually really cool. It's like they are. The Dunny body is like the base, and then he has gone and like literally built like a typical, think like the Pixar lamp, right? With like the flexible arm, and then the Dunny head is used to hold the light.
Yep, it looks great.
But they're cool. I just hadn't seen them before, and I really liked them.
Yeah, they sold out fast, and he's doing the second run. It's too spendy for me, but if I had the money, I would definitely buy one because they're really cool looking.
It's like a practical custom, right? Like I could totally, I'm like, this is good. Like I could put this on my bedside table.
Yep. And
it's like a good combination. And like he's apparently done some upgrades. Like there's an on and off switch, and the base is removable. And I think he's now added like the on and off switch on the cord kind of a thing versus having to unplug it. And
okay.
So I don't know. It just seemed pretty cool. It caught my eye.
It's magnetic as well, I believe.
Oh yeah, I remember reading that.
Yeah, it's one of those posts actually I saw on Instagram, and it's on my list of things I need to post on Toy Chronicle. I think they were amazing. I'd love to have one myself, so that's something I'm looking to purchase and also write about.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good one.
It's always intriguing to me to see what people can come up with. The fact that he built a lamp functionality through a 3-inch toy is just, for me, mind-boggling, because I don't have the skill set to even like know where to begin. Like, I actually think that would be our super fun workshop. Like, build your own Dunny lamp. Someone needs to make that happen.
The fabrication experience, used to make that. That's what's impressive about customizers is, you got all these different wide ranges of skill sets, and you might get the wood guy, and you're going to get the guy who knows how to work in metal, and amazing sculptors, and so that's what's really interesting about the custom scene.
Yes, and actually that leads into another story if I can talk about it.
Please do.
Something that happened this week. So I don't know if you saw the false Omen project.
Yes.
That was another rivalry epic story as well that kicked off. But the guy that wanted to buy the Omen, the 20-inch Omen, but they are all sold out and they're quite expensive anyway to buy on the secondary market. He's an engineer. He was like, well, I can make my own. Like, I can go ahead and make it. But then he thought, well, if I can make a 20-inch Omen, why can't I make a 5-foot Omen? So he went about making his own 5-foot Omen. He'd 3D scanned it and sort of
like had it CNC printed out of styrofoam, I think, something like that.
Yes, the body was the CNC out of styrofoam and the 3D legs. But that kicked off all sorts of fun posting about that. Again, it was the artist had forgot to tell us that he'd got permission from Course to do this. Like he'd showed Course at the Rotofugi expedition last year. He forgot to tell us that piece of information. We didn't think anything of it. I mean, he's not looking to sell it. He just did it for his own sort of collection to see if he could do it more than anything. And we thought that's pretty cool. And he sent us all the information, all the pictures it took. It then obviously kicked off that people thought it was illegal and all sorts. And
oh, dear.
But we got to a resolution eventually, and a lot of people viewed that post. So hopefully it gave the artist Egon, I think his name is Eagon. Egon. So hopefully he got the sort of spotlight and recognition that he deserves for actually going ahead and doing something cool. And Course actually wanted to buy the finished Dunny from him. So I don't think he's willing to sell it. I think he wants it for himself. But it was kind of cool.
No, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important lesson for anyone who's doing these customs. If you did something like this, like if you did your own paws or Omen or something, like, let the blogs know that you had permission to do so you don't get this outlash of potential drama, like smearing your name throughout the industry. It's not what you want. To definitely let people know that you had permission to do so.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That helps.
Yeah. But I really liked that article because I think it's fun to see kind of the behind the scenes. Like, clearly it took a lot of time and effort and work, and it was cool to see how you had to piece it together. It's fun
definitely.
like that.
Yeah, I think we need to see more of that. It'd be great to see people sort of like spending the time detailing the process that they took to make a custom or to make a finished product, and send that to the blogs and let people sort of enjoy that and see the skills that you have, because that will hopefully lead to more work as well in the future.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people, it seems like a lot of people are maybe not creating, blog post type versions of that. But I mean, I do feel like there's a lot more people with, stuff like Instagram and Facebook Live going out there and kind of working on a piece and let people join and kind of watch them and ask questions. It's cool that a lot of artists are starting to do stuff like that. So you can kind of get a feel for how it's done.
Yeah, Jason Freeney does a great job of that, actually, I think, with a few of his pieces that he sort of like goes through the steps and takes pictures, and it's great to see from a well-known artist that it shows what can be done and how to do it. So it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, especially too for like someone like me or just even artists who are just kind of getting going. Like, I'm sure there are things people have learned along the way of valuable lessons, like this product is a bad choice, or this, make sure you do this step because it's gonna be really critical. So like being able to have those as a resource when you first start will be super helpful, so that you can learn from other people's mistakes and hopefully make products that will be good quality and long lasting if you end up selling them.
Yeah, totally.
What about you, Gary? Do you have a leak and sneak peek for us?
I actually have two. I don't know if I can. Can I do two, or can I do?
Yeah.
Just go with?
No, go. Have at it.
Okay, so one of the pieces that we actually covered this week on the Toy Chronicle blog, which I absolutely love, and you'll probably see why when I talk about it, was the Hipster Joe lumberback by Toylaxy.
Okay.
It's a 21 centimeters. I don't know what that is.
Damn it, Gary! I don't know either.
All right, Google comes to the rescue when it comes to conversion. 21 centimeters in inches is, and of course my computer screen freezes.
Well, it's about 10 inches tall, including the base, and
okay.
it's a 10-inch lumberjack figure in vinyl, and it is a bearded hipster, tattooed plaid shirt dude, really, and it's so good. He's got like tattoos, and he's got like the earplugs. He's got like a little pipe, but he's got a good, healthy beard. But he's also got a great set of hair as well. So it just looks amazing. And there was 3 colorways. They had like a color version, then they had like a black and white version, which I purchased, and then they've got like the sepia sort of version as well. Sepia, I don't know, whatever. Sepia, yeah. It's available for pre-order now. There's only 300 pieces, so I think it's 100 pieces of each colorway. It was $120, which is about £93 if you're British, and it looks to ship around January time, so it's still a little while off, but it looks such an amazing piece, and it'll work well with my bearded collection.
I was going to ask if you had a bearded collection.
I do. I have a few bearded stuff. I need more. I don't know why we don't see more bearded releases, but Ian Hancock's in the UK does a few bearded pieces, which I really love. There's a few Macbeth pieces that are bearded. The production done his stuff. I've got some Daniel Bryan, the wrestler, figures in there as well. So yeah, there's definitely bearded action going on in the Rozanski collection.
Now, there was a time that George Gaspar, a regular host on the Marsham Toy Hour, he was entering the world's greatest annual beard contest. Do you remember seeing George with that humongous beard?
An epic beard. That was like,
I know, and now he's got this nicely trimmed, manscaped beard. How do you feel about that?
I'm never happy with when a bearded brother will shave their beard and keep it nice and trimmed. But yeah, it was always fun to go back and see the pictures of George with a beard. It was good to see. He needs to grow it back.
He does. We need to, put that toothpick contest to another challenge.
We have some great bearded artists, though. Obviously, there's I don't know if you guys know Uncle Absinthe in the UK. He does like leafy stuff. He's an amazing sort of bearded artist, good friend as well. And then there's
Ryan Rutherford. I can think of one.
Oh yeah, Ryan. Yeah, he's another bearded brother. Amazing piece of work. And there's Arsin. Is it Arsin?
R-S-I-N?
Yes. I don't know how to pronounce it. I forget.
I think it's supposed to be resin, but a lot of people just pronounce it as arson.
Arsin. Yeah, he's another bearded brother that's great at what he does. So yeah, there's a few bearded boys that maybe the bearded women need to step up. They need to.
Are there many bearded women in the industry?
I don't think I've seen one yet, but I love that you have a little spot in your collection dedicated to that. It's just like where I have a little a dog themed collection in honor of Bailey. So it's fun. It's fun creating little groups. Do you have any Gary Ham?
Do I have any skinny, annoying character toys?
Do you have any ham-based customs?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. You know what? Someone did make me a custom that is holding a ham. So we had that in the kitchen. But other than that, no, I don't really. My family used to collect pigs for a long time, so I'm kind of pigged out. But anytime I do see it's just when you have the last name Ham, people just think that it's just every year you would get a pig for Christmas. My stepmom collects a lot of these pig things, and her whole kitchen's just filled with pigs just because of her last name. So no, I don't really have a set thing that I collect. I'm boring like that. And did you have another one, Gary, that you wanted to mention?
I did. This is from a UK artist. This will drop on the 20th of August, so a couple of days before this podcast airs. It's Theresa Mayhem by Chaingun Art. I don't know if you're familiar with UK politics right now. I mean, you guys have got a lot going on in your politics.
We got our
politics.
hands full.
You definitely have your hands full. But so we recently had a general election to vote in our new prime minister, and last year after the Brexit vote, which was another clusterfuck of UK politics, our old prime minister David Cameron, beautiful guy, decided to quit, and Theresa May got into power through, I don't know what she did, but she managed to get into power. She then decided this year, despite saying she'd never do it, is run for another general election. And the idea was she was going to get a stronger sort of hold on the UK by getting a huge majority, but that didn't happen. So during the election, she was terrible at what she did, in the way she went about all her sort of like politic bullshit that they do. Anyway, she never got into. She got back into power, but only just, and that was due to actually forming a coalition. So she joined forces with the DUP in Northern Ireland. So my friend Chaingun created a sort of like bootleg Theresa Mayhem figure with a proper carded sort of like piece of art as well, and it's just it's an amazing. And so they drop on the 20th of August. There's only I can't remember how many he said he did. Was it 10 or maybe 40? I can't remember, but they drop for like £40 plus shipping. And then there's a deluxe version which comes with the original sort of artwork that he did prior to the actual figure being released, which is for £450. So you get the figure actual artwork as well, but it's got Theresa May on the front on the card with. She said that she'd be happy bringing fox hunting back to try and garner votes. It never worked. But so the Theresa May on the backing card has like a fox sort of like dangling and bleeding and stuff. But it's
okay. So that's interesting. Like, so speaking about like the politics in the UK and stuff, one thing that's always kind of surprised me about designer toys is, you know, Europe has such a strong like culture of art and design, and I've always been a little surprised that there's not more designer toy stores or producers, or even like there's not really even that many artists coming out of Europe, and especially when I think of a country like Germany, they're so, you know, engulfed in art and design. And why isn't designer toys like much more prominent in a stronger culture out there in Europe than it currently is?
I don't know. I think it's probably like the economy. It's not particularly great, so it's a bit of a risk actually setting up like your own store. There's a few online stores that do great, like Collecting Display in the UK. Are great at what they do. There's Minty Fresh over in Netherlands. They do a great job. They've just started making pins as well. Like it's a different sort of like side avenue. Which, yeah, it's a real struggle. I don't know. I don't know why we don't have that many. I mean, we've got artists. There's plenty of UK and European artists sort of doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
But in terms of like producers or like physical gallery sort of stores, just doesn't exist, and it's a shame. Yeah. We had Kid Robot in London at one point. That didn't last, so that's a bit sad. I would love. I mean, that's one of my dreams, is to actually open a gallery sort of like store. I'm always jealous of when I come over to New York and sort of like go to my plastic art, and I've never been up to Clutter, but we obviously do a fair number of live streams from there with Rob Lamino from For the Masses and Suburban Vinyl. He does a lot of our sort of live streaming, so we see a lot of those, and it's so I'm jealous of like those sort of situations where they have somewhere to go meet and spend time and meet with people, and we don't have that. So even when we've done shows like Toy Con and things like that, the rest, like when we don't sell pieces, they're just going to like boxes waiting for somebody to buy, and it'd be great to have like a place where we can put those on display and let people see them, and it just isn't available in the UK or Europe, and it sucks. But yeah, I think it's just a difficult like environment, like for the economy and stuff. It just
okay. I would love to talk to you more about it, but we're running late on time, so it's probably a pretty heavy topic to get into this late. So how about a lighthearted round of lightning questions then?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
All right, let's do this. You're on the clock. What was your most recent toy purchase?
My most recent was the Hipster Joe, the lumberjack. I bought that this week. In terms of the most recent toy delivery, was the Macinbot, the classic old Macintosh computer with like.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yes, very cool.
Yeah, that arrived this week, and that's great. We did a live stream of that on the Facebook page for us, so that was cool.
Okay, very cool. What was your very first designer toy purchase?
Purchase, I don't recall, but my first designer toys that I ever received was a blind box, and it was the 2009 series, and it was a zombie. I forget what it was called now. The green sort of. I'm looking at it. I can't think who was the artist. It was one of those artists that kind of didn't do anything else after.
Oh, right.
I forget who it was, but yeah, that was the first time that I got a blind box, got the smell of vinyl, and I was hooked.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
What is the toy that's most prominently displayed in your collection, do you think?
Well, I don't have like one particular toy. I've got a fair amount of John Paul Kaiser. I think I've counted the other day. I think there was over 50 pieces in my John Paul Kaiser collection. I've got a few epic pieces. I've got like one of his blanks that I received as a gift. I've got you remember the Stomp-A-Lot that Kid Robot did with Hook?
Yeah.
Before that kind of went sour, that relationship. I got that. I got a custom John Paul Kaiser. Done one of those that looked great, and then I've got a huge Omen collection as well. I've pretty much got every Omen going. I think there's a few that I still need, but yeah, I've got a huge Course Toys Omen collection.
Awesome. All right, Theresa, you want to take a crack at one?
Shoot, no, I'm not prepared.
Come on.
You didn't tell me to think of that. Okay, fine.
I didn't have to.
No, I don't have one.
Oh man. All right, give me the mic back. What was your? Is there a white whale toy out there that you've been searching for? Like, what's your holy grail toy?
There was a few John Paul Kaiser pieces that took for a while, but I don't think I've got anything. There's let me think.
Well, speaking of John Paul Kaiser, just recently at the Designer Toy Awards, he won the Artist of the Year award. I think you were the one that maybe presented the award to him. But when his name was read, like, you were super ecstatic. Like, you could have not have been happier for John, and that was really cool to see.
Well, to start with, I was extremely drunk. That was probably that was one of the reasons. Someone told me, maybe it was Theresa, I can't remember. I threw a beer up in the air. It hit the roof and went everywhere. I absolutely lost my shit because I'm a huge fan of John Paul. He was one of the reasons why I really got into designer toys. Like when I came back to the UK, they had a Kid Robot Dunny series that he did. I forget which series it was now, but he had a release. He had the Gladiator with the Mohican. Lost my mind now, but they had like an Dunny opening thing signing at the London store, and he was there, and that was like the first time I met John Paul and just fell in love with him. I fell in love with his work, and that's where the collection sort of like grew. And for the last couple of years, he's been putting out so much good work. Like it's just insane. I've been lucky enough to be part of the DTA finalist panel for the last 2 years, and going through the pieces that are nominated. John Paul had a huge amount of he had more than half of the nominations, and then he wasn't winning, and I was like, hang on a sec, this is John Paul Kaiser. He's putting out so much good work, and it's almost like he gets overlooked because it's almost expected. And for him then, for his name to be called out as Artist of the Year, I was just like, yes.
Yeah, it was
I could have cried more than I think. I felt stronger him winning than Toy Chronicle winning the best blog.
Awesome.
The first time. It was just such a release of energy, and just I was so happy for him. I texted him. I woke him up as soon as he was announced. Obviously, it's stupid o'clock in the UK when they announced the awards. So I think he appreciated being woken up. I don't think he expected to win. I'm
sure he didn't mind.
So I managed to get both, because we won the best blog and he won the artist. And I managed to take both awards back home, and they weren't damaged or anything in transit. So
nice.
Yes.
So speaking of which, where are your designer toy awards displayed?
So when we first won it in 2015, I had it for like 6 months. And then it came to ToyCon with us, and then Andy took it back to his. And then the second one, I have displayed next to my TV in the lounge.
Okay.
So it doesn't. I mean, my girlfriend doesn't get the whole the whole toy thing.
Our significant others rarely do.
Yeah. So the living room is almost like out of bounds for toys. I have most of my collection in our sort of like office area, but the award sits proudly in the lounge for everybody to see.
Okay. Nice. And okay, the next question. I'm pretty certain I know one of your picks, but if you were to make a Mount Rushmore of designer toys,
yeah,
who would be on it?
It's 4, right? I can pick 4.
Yeah, pick 4.
John Paul would be definitely number 1.
Yep.
I would go with Hook G as number 2. That guy is amazing at what he does. He can dance as well, which is always good.
Very dapper, that guy.
He is. He's British as well, which helps. I know he lived in America for so long that it doesn't feel like he's a Brit, but at heart he's a Geordie. So.
True.
Who else would sit there? Of the like recent artists that I've started collecting, maybe Quicks. You know, Quicks over in
yeah, Filipino artist. Yeah,
his stuff is just knocking out of the park at the minute. It's amazing, and I'd probably go with. I'd go with Macbeth.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, he needs to start making more toys.
He needs to start answering my fucking emails. Like that. I've emailed him so many times. So like, dude, let's do something. I mean, you're in London. Let's do. And he never replies.
Hey,
all right. Well,
Gary,
I think.
No, wait. Yeah. I got one.
All right, go for it.
Hey, bearded Gary, choose. Shave the beard or never drink beer again.
Oh, look who's coming through in the clutch.
I think it's time to wrap up this call and let's. I don't know.
There's a choice, and you can't grow the beer back. So no more beer or no more beard.
It's not Gary either way. Either way, you're taking away Gary.
Yeah,
it's those hard-hitting questions. You gotta ask them.
It is. That is very hard. I'd probably stop. I'd probably give up the beer. But there's so much good beer right now. It's unreal. The UK scene is smashing it. It's great. So
I love that you would give up libations if you had to. You like the beer that much. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, Gary, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a lot of fun talking with you, and congratulations on winning the Designer Toy Award for Best Blog this year. And we look forward to all the updates and upgrades you do to the Toy Chronicle, and look forward to another go at it next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Why don't you take
Are you guys going to Decon as well?
We're
trying. I think both of us are. We're both on the brink. I had a very bad financial month, which puts that in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And I think Theresa's kind of in the same boat. So
we're struggling,
we'll see.
Lesson, but Bearded Gary, we are both very much trying to figure out a way to go. I'm actually, I'm trying to sort through it because I'll be super sad if I can't make it happen.
Well, hopefully I'll see you guys there. I'm definitely going.
Awesome.
There's good flights from London to LA, so I'll be definitely going with a group of guys, and hopefully I'll see you guys there. But yeah, it's been great chatting with you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Appreciate. Thank you for all the support. It's always great.
For sure.
And yeah, so we'll see how the next couple of months go with things. But thank you.
Yeah, no, definitely. You're awesome. Thanks for joining. And so why don't you take a brief moment and just remind all the listeners where they can find you?
Yeah, so the toychronicle.com is our website, and then on Instagram, on Twitter, and Facebook, we are at the Toy Chronicle. And yeah, so check us out. Appreciate it.
Okay. Ladies next.
All right. As usual, if you want to find me, check me out on Instagram. My username is tmhawk24.
And I am Gary Ham. You can find me at Gary Ham on Instagram or superham.com. This has been the Marsham Toy Hour. We do this every week, not because we have to,
but because we want to.
That's right. So until our next transmission, we're signing off.
Later.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.